What's going on, everybody? Admin Static here with a video for you guys. It's been a while since I've done a video in general. Usually I do versus battles, but today we're going to be covering Milestone Returns issue 0 and give you a little brief history of Milestone itself. So Milestone was the first major black comic book company that launched in the mid 90s, mid to late 90s, and it would have been highly successful if not for the unfortunate circumstances that they had faced when merging with DC. Now, by that, you guys may not know the complete history, but DC kind of threw them under the bus once they kind of took them in under their wing as the younger brother, younger sister company and whatnot. They took a hold of these characters and kind of threw them under the bus, and the reason for doing so was saying for things like, oh, well, the show didn't do too well either, and it didn't sell toys, and the problem with that was there were no toys made for Static Shock, except for two. There were two toys that were made, one which literally kind of just stood there and didn't do anything at all when the show first launched, and there was another one that was made of an adult, older Static from Justice League Unlimited, or was it Batman Beyond? I can't exactly remember which time frame it was, but it was during one of those two time frames where Static was older and whatnot, and that toy didn't do anything as well. So there were no actual action figures or toys just made outside of things that you saw in McDonald's and Burger King and things like that. So that was an invalid excuse. So Milestone getting thrown under the bus for a pretty much almost 2 decades hurt them quite a bit. Static, Icon, Rocket, Hardware, all these characters started kind of diminish into like a twinkle in people's eyes and whatnot. And people of my age, you know, that was kids, those was born into the 80s and whatnot and grew up seeing Static Shock and everything like that, appreciated it, but we lost out on that. Now, recently with DC Fandom, Jim Lee has taken over as creative chief director of DC Comics, and he made some pretty good moves by helping Milestone get back on their feet by putting them to the forefront and helping them get Static and Icon and these other characters back out to the forefront, getting issues done. Yes, unfortunately, there's no physical copies of right now, which is, I can see why they're doing all digital, because of the fact that, for one, we still got the whole pandemic thing going on right now, and also two, the fan base isn't where it used to be when it comes to Milestone. And that it wouldn't be a smart move to kind of waste money to go into all this marketing and publishing and go ahead and get these things printed and stuff like that. Like there's a lot more money that comes in, that comes along with doing physical copies and things of that nature. And you kind of want to see if people will actually read these, if you can get decent numbers, digitally at least, before you even think about doing physical copies. Excuse me. But moving on to issue 0 of Milestone Returns. So Milestone Returns comes back and it hits pretty hard right at home. They do what they're usually known for, having controversial topics relating to modern day society, whatever that modern day is that they were in. Now, what we also see here in this issue is Icon and Rocket are kind of monitoring everything that's going on in society right now, where these villains and heroes and stuff like that, they're just kind of watching everything, and Icon is giving Rocket a lesson and trying to talk her through, like, look, you need to open your eyes, you need to see all these things and stuff like that, and this particular person, we don't know why this person's doing it just yet, but he does need to be stopped. But on the other hand, you got something over here that needs to be, that's just as important, or probably even more important. And the Icon is kind of also giving speeches and talking about how the system has failed, mainly the citizens due to black minorities, mainly how the system is broken for them, but it's not broken for citizens of the upper class world and things like that. And he tells them that this little girl here is what got him to get involved and to clean up her neighborhood and things of that nature. So we see those kind of things going on, and then also too, we see Static's origin also gets actually kind of changed. For the most part, it's similar to the last one, but it's still changed to fit modern day aspect. Virgil, of course, is still, he's still this kid in high school, this very intelligent kid in high school that gets bullied by a good group of kids and whatnot, and he ends up going to a Black Lives Matter rally, and the bullies were on the opposite side of the protest, and they all got into a brawl. As they were brawling, the police came in, threw in a specific type of mutagen tear gas to break up the fight and whatnot, and that's what gave Virgil his powers. Formerly, the way he got his powers was he was pretty much getting ready to do a gang initiation. They went to a harbor, and then the police came and they pretty much through the same thing, and all those kids, including Virgil, some of them died, some of them got powers and whatnot. They pretty much transferred over to a modern day setting, and they talk about these whole riots that's going on, and Virgil even gets into a conversation with the reader, telling them that yeah, he's afraid of the cops, but he's also afraid of these certain group of people, but he's smarter than them, he can outsmart them, he knows how to handle this and everything like that. So it's a really, really good read to start off issue 0. Now, one of the good things about issue 0 is the number of people that are backing it. You have Dennis Cohen, you have Jim Lee. Like there's at least 5 different artists on this issue 0 alone that's given this type of work like the much love that it's needed. You have one writer and then 5 other artists, like including Jim Lee, Dennis Cohen, and a few others. Now, with that much hands kind of dipping just into issue 0, it should let you know that they are willing to really stand behind this Milestone project, the project of Milestone Returns. So hopefully in February, when they start bringing out issue 1 on the digital base, we'll be able to support that. And if you support that, the more you support something, the more it's going to continue. So with that being said, this is Adam and Static on the coverage of Milestone 0. You guys have a good day.